Hello and welcome to another Raggy's Beers, Wines and Spirits video. Different one though today. At the start of this channel, pretty much the start anyway, I did a Raggy's Weekly, which was a news update on what's happening in the beer industry. Just telling you what's out there. And so I decided to do a new one. So, first one. Oh, no, well, let me get there. Hey, miserable bleeder. So, Waitrose are bringing out tube wines, and it's basically like a, I don't know if you've ever had wine kits where they come in a big tube. Well, like a tin of beans, but a longer tin of beans, sort of thing, that sort of thing. And Waitrose claims UK supermarket first with tube wine duo. The tubes are 100% recyclable and contain the equivalent of 3 regular bottles of wine. Someone made in Chelsea star Spencer Matthews Clean Liqueur Company is to launch low alcohol rum and ready to drinks. Yeah, so if you like low alcohol stuff, innit, eh? On the coronavirus news, Molson Coors, the owner of Carling and quite a lot of other beers, scales down UK operations and cuts the range. The brewer said it's prioritising the most in-demand and popular lines amid the crisis. I did wonder when some of the big breweries were going to struggle. Northern Monk and Aunt Bessie's are teaming up for a roast dinner beer duo. The roast dinner pale ale has been brewed with Aunt Bessie's Yorkshire puddings and roast taters. Now that'll be interesting to see. Genius Brewing nets major cash injection from former Molson Coors boss. Right, Frexinet Cope-Stick to support care for wild wino charity. Wino, you know, not a wino as in the wino, a wino as in the animal. Charity with new wine brand. Darren Goff will serve as the brand ambassador for the wines in the UK. I'd love to be a brand ambassador. Probably get into trouble there. Frexinet makes major still wine play with upmarket trio. So it says here, the Frexinet is usually a sparkling wine. We used to sell it at Sainsbury's in about 4 different variants. The Italian still wine segment was declining ahead of the total still wine category, and there is a strong opportunity to bring some excitement and innovation to this sector. Yeah. Berkman Wine Cellars launches online store to support hospitality outlets. Another one, pubs to trade as local food shops with new trade initiative. Admiral Taverns, Green King Pub Partners, Trust Inns and St Austell Brewery have already signed up. I think that's absolutely amazing to do. I think to keep your pubs alive, you've got to innovate, change what you're doing. But your pubs are there, your shops. Not everybody wants to go to a shop and queue for 20 minutes just to get a couple of bits. And while they're open, they can be selling you beer in containers to take home. What's not to love? I Heart Wines asks shoppers to nominate superheroes for a Prosecco gift. Frexinet Cope-Stick own brand partner with personalised gifting firm Intervino to produce 2,500 bottles of the drink. And that's nice. I think we need, as a country, to applaud and celebrate all those people that are putting their lives at risk. You know, it's humbling when you see NHS doctors, nurses, even the porters going in, and you know they can get this as easy as anybody. Supermarket work, you know, all key workers, everybody working in public can get this, and it's frightening. Chapel Down have seized booming retail and online wine sales, but suspends brewing business. Yeah, so they've shut the beer and cider brewing arm due to the closure of on-trade being pubs. Brewdog bosses give up their salary to prevent job losses. That's fair play, isn't it? When you see people doing, not like Richard Branson, told all his staff to take holidays, and you know, bad bosses will be outed. there'll be a lot of this come out. There'll be a lot of stories. Like, well, look at the Wetherspoons boss. Yeah, there's words. Coronavirus. The crisis drives £160 million additional spend on supermarket booze. Well, you shut the pubs, it's going to happen, isn't it? Let me pick out some more news. So yeah, it's nice to hear what's going off. Sometimes it's so Manchester Gin, predominantly at Home Bargains with their gins and B&M. Manchester Gin switches bottles to predominantly recycled glass. I think there's a good call to go to plastic in the spirit market, but obviously plastic isn't so recyclable, so I suppose recyclable glass is at least something there. Slow Motion Distillery are launching a natural botanicals spirits brand called Finders, and about 6 different flavours there. Yeah, Wetherspoons. JD Wetherspoon boss asks suppliers for payment moratorium. Yeah, some of these rich people, they're terrible, aren't they? You know, they're disgusting. Diageo to donate alcohol for hand sanitizer production. The booze giant has pledged to donate up to 2 million litres of alcohol to manufacturers. Well done. Diageo, if you didn't know, are the suppliers behind Bailey's, a lot of the spirit range, Guinness. Weston's boost production after surge in off-trade side demand. So it's strange that some are lower in production and then others. The thing for me, and if you're a company looking at this and thinking, yeah, he might talk some sense, this bloke. The thing for me is, get your product out there, get it in plastic bottles, get your seasonal stuff that you don't normally send in bottles, get it in bottles. Get an online shop, you'll make the pennies. And as customers, how will I be drinking something I've not drank before that I can't get usually? Because it's at pubs, it doesn't come to shops. Weston's expands the Henry Weston's brand with trio of new ciders. So you've got a cloudy vintage, an organic cider and a vintage rosé to roll out this month. So may already be there. Bloom Gin adds limited edition cocktail inspired duo. So they will feature neck tags showcasing their signature serves. Yeah. Coronavirus. HMRC is to fast track applications for distillers to shift to hand sanitizer production. Well played. Obviously PPE and hand sanitizer has been a major bone of contention. Britain needs to make our own. We don't need to get it from abroad. Make your own, make it as cheap as you can, because if you're having to make it over there, then bring it over here on plane. Surely we can do it here. It's just getting it up and running and getting it done as cheap as possible, but as obviously making it the right. Audi are launching a botanicals own label gin brand, Haysmiths. So obviously one of the big companies is making it for them, and the range has debuted in a trio of flavours inspired by tropical climates. Yeah. Right. Dubliner Whiskey is getting a bold redesign to attract younger shoppers. The whiskey has been given a bold contemporary design, focusing on its provenance and heritage. Yeah, jolly good. Pernod Ricard acquires a stake in modern aperitivo brand Italicus. Italicus 20% Spirit is billed as a modern aperitivo with keynotes of Calabrian bergamot. Yes, that's a nice thing to say at this time of day. Ilva Serrano to launch its own Di Serrano UK distribution arm. This move will end the 20-year partnership with UK distributor William Grant & Sons. Seven Brothers gives craft beer portfolio clearer and cleaner look. Yeah, it's got a big 7 on it now. The overall made the cans more recognisable as Seven Brothers, according to the brewer. It does. but sometimes you can lose individuality with that. Accolade Wines is back to relaunch the Hardy's brand with a £5 million investment. The new campaign is titled Certainty in an Uncertain World. No shit. Lost and Grounded and Portman Group battle over can design ruling. The Bristol-based craft brewer's Running Receptors ale was ruled as having a risk of appealing to under 18s. I don't see how. And these companies come up with some shizzle. Kingland are targeting non-wine drinkers with a new Vin Crowd brand. So it's like an alcohol-free wine and sparkling wine. And obviously Brothers expand fruit cider with marshmallow flavour. Well, we all know that because I've reviewed it. Pernod Ricard to launch Beefeater Gin RT ready-to-drinks duo. The Spirit Giants plan to roll out a dry and a pink ready-to-drink. Ready-to-drink being the small little cans that you get, according to the MD of its Gin Hub division. Jack Daniels are launching, and it's probably already in shops. I think it already is, you know, to launch Tennessee Apple in the UK. Obviously, you know about Strongbow adding rosé cider and revamped pack designs across the range. Owner Heineken claims it will lure a different shopper to the Strongbow brand. Now the thing is, rosé ciders for me are a way of bringing wine drinkers into the rosé cider category, because it bridges that divide. And obviously cider being 4%, wine being 9% and upwards normally. So anyway, that's the first of these Raggies Weekly. Did any interesting news from that I can find anyway from the beer sector, the beers, wines and spirits sector. Obviously this week Tesco's are going to be having a load of new beers in as they're part of their range review. I've seen it from 4 different breweries so far, so I presume it's going to be quite a big range review. I hope it is anyway, because I'm going in on Saturday making a special journey. We're doing our shopping there this week, even though we hate shopping there at the moment because it's not fun. That one-way system just drives me up the wall, especially when everybody else ignores it and you're there, and then you get people watching you on the aisles. They're walking up and down like, excuse me, can you walk that way please? But anyway, first of these Raggies Weekly, I've resurrected it because I thought, well, bring it back in. It's interesting to know about beer, what's happening out there, especially if you don't hear about it, you know. And that's all from this one. Yes, it's a bit, I'm actually next to my computer, so I'm sat upstairs, no beer in hand, no, I'm clean, I'm not drinking at the moment. But dare not do too much, the wife will give me the red card. And that's it. I'm not going too far back. I went back to the end of February there. Some of these brands are probably already in shops. And while I'm out and about, if I see anything interesting, I'll flag it up. Or if you see anything interesting, let me know, because obviously, you know, I see things on Facebook and that, but it's always interesting to be able to share it with everybody out there. Right, thanks for watching, and see you soon. Cheers.